Okay, time to do the cassette deck. Now it was extremely dirty inside, so I cleaned this up I cleaned it up as much as I could. I also cleaned the heads, the record head, the playback head, sorry, the erase head and the play record head, and I also cleaned the pinch roller. And honestly, the pinch roller feels still quite rubbery, so it might still work. Now the deck itself, I think it is still working. Now if you remember the state of the belts on the inside, it's not everything is gonna work, but see, if I press play, it seems that I don't know if you can see it, but the pinch roller is still pushing against the capstan and is still rolling. So it might still work. Now it's not gonna work very well. And also, I don't know if you can see it. See, so there, the take-up wheel is also turning, but if I do rewind or fast forward, nothing is happening. Which is, well, not surprising, seeing that I think one of the two belts that is completely gone and the other one is very slack. So just for fun, let's try this cassette. I'm just gonna only be able to play it, and it's gonna sound horrible. I don't even know what is on here. Let's see. I need to put it on tape. And I don't even know. Yeah, I expect a lot of wow and flutter. Let's hit it. Haha! Okay, we were just at the end of a song, and it's Humpapa Carnaval music, I think. Oh, it's very silent. Maybe it's a bad recording. And it's only coming out of the right channel, nothing from the left. Wow. This is straight from a horror movie. What the heck is this? That sounds like it's recorded backwards. Is this reading the wrong track on the cassette, perhaps? What the heck? On the other side? Whoa! That is only coming from the left channel. Oh no! Okay, something is really weird. It's the same song, but forward this time. And surprisingly, it doesn't sound too bad, but the right channel is very low. Left channel sounds okay. Wow, something is really off here. Right. Now about the cassette deck. The cassette deck in here is an N2506. So that was an original Philips record player, a dedicated cassette player. And it has the same mechanism inside as over here. The electronics, you can find it in the service manual of this machine. So see, if you look at here at the schematic, that's the schematic I showed earlier. Here, this part, that's the electronics for the cassette deck. But the mechanics, for that you have to check the service manual of the N2506. See, so here we have the entire breakdown. I just got this from Radio Museum of the N2506. And so I was checking how many belts do we need to swap, because that's what I'm going to start with. I can see here 1, 2, 3. I think that's it. Now, this belt here, that's the belt for the tape counter, and we don't have a tape counter on this machine. So this belt, that is simply not present. So I think it should be enough to swap these two. Okay, so there are two belts, or there should be two belts here. So you have here this big one, and it's in urgent need of replacement. See, it goes here from the motor to this big flywheel over here across. Then it goes here, it rubs against this pulley, and then back to the motor. So see, so that's the one that is still working, see? But should be replaced. And then there, I guess there was at some point a belt here between these two pulleys, but it has completely turned into goo. So that needs to be cleaned off. So two things. First thing is I need to get access here to this mechanism, because to put the new belt across, there are 3 screws over here. I think I need to loosen all 3. I think. Let's try the first one. There is a washer underneath, so I need to be careful that I don't lose it. And yeah, the screw is already gone, and the washer as well. Okay, here is the washer. And here is the screw. Put this here in my tiny cap. Next. The other two, they don't have a washer. I think that should be enough to get this bracket off so that I can replace that belt. So we're gonna start with the mechanics before we... Oh, this entire thing comes off. That's okay. Right. That should be enough to release this part here. Yes, or maybe not. Yeah. Okay, that was easy. And now I can take off this belt. And now I can also more easily access this part to clean this up. So let me just clean up everything here, and then we're gonna have a look if I can find some new belts in my stock. Okay, so I'm gonna let you join in on the fun here a bit. It's a mess. Everything is full of goo here on these 2 wheels. It gets everywhere. Even if you're careful, it gets everywhere, and it gets on your fingers, and it's really, really annoying. If it was more than just these 2 small wheels, I would wear gloves, but now I'm just gonna try to do it like this and be a bit careful. So this is gonna take me a while to get everything cleaned off here. Okay, I went through my stock of belts, and this is the only one that I found that is small enough. It's a bit too thick to my liking. I think it's... let me measure it. Yeah, it's 1.5 millimeters. I would rather have a 1 millimeter belt in here, but all my 1 millimeter belts are too large. So it's gonna be 1.5 millimeter. And I think it should fit here on these 2 wheels. Yeah. So cleaning this off was quite a challenge. This black goo was really the gift that kept on giving. It was incredible how much goo kept creeping out of these wheels. Let's see. Yeah, that seems to work fine. Tension seems to be okay. Now let's see if I can find a big one for these wheels here. Okay, so I think this one might work. That's a 10 centimeter belt. See? So if you measure it like this, it's 10 centimeters. I think that might work here for this application. Yeah. I think that's okay. Now the original one here was, or is at the moment, 12 centimeters, so I don't know what was originally in there, but this one seems to work fine. Okay, let's give this another go. Okay, so let's first try play. That seems to be working. Yeah, it has quite a bit of torque. See, I cannot stop it at all. That's good. Fast forward or backward, I don't know which one this is. I think this is fast forward. That seems to be working as well. And this is done rewind. Oh. What? Yeah, it automatically stops because... Don't know why, probably because there is no tape in there. But okay, so I turned this thing right side up again for the 15 millionth time. Now I took a cassette here with 50 Childs songs, so again, probably not the greatest quality of music, but that won't get me a copyright hit, I hope. Let's see. Well, it plays. That's already good. Oh, that's a long leader on this cassette. Ah, there it is. Okay. Left channel. Right channel. Oh, the right channel is much more silent than the left channel. Wow. There is almost nothing coming through on the right channel. Left channel is more or less okay, except the treble, which is gone, totally gone. Okay, let's see the forward. So, fast forward, yeah, that's working. Nice. Rewind, that's working as well. It should auto stop. It does. Okay, that was not a convincing way of auto stop, but it's working. The squeakiness is the cassette, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so far for the high quality music content, I think it doesn't sound great. Apart from the music itself, it doesn't sounds very muffled. The high frequencies are totally absent and the right channel is very silent. So either the head is worn, either the alignment is wrong, or there is something in the electronics going on. So yeah, still quite a bit of work to do here, I guess. Okay, I'm in the process here of checking the electronics of this tape deck, and I recapped already the entire this board. This is the motor control board. There are a couple of transistors on there, and I think 4 capacitors, 5 capacitors, 4 capacitors. They are all quite high, so they need to be replaced. That's what I've done. I checked the transistors. At first sight they seem okay, but there is something peculiar here. So this is the circuit for the motor control board. I only have it partially here on this page, but so these transistors on there, there is one bigger one, that guy, but the other 1, 2, 3 transistors, they are all here on the schematic marked as a BC548. But here on this board we have a 2SC1737. This is a BC548 and this is a BC108. So granted, they are equivalents of a BC548, but it would seem weird to me if Philips would have used 3 different types of transistors here. Also 3 different, see this 2SC is really a different family on the BC series. Also this guy, the BC548, see the legs are not snipped off. So that makes me believe that somebody has already been in here at some point and replaced these transistors. Anyway, I'm gonna leave them for now. This 2SC1737 has developed this black leg syndrome, but it still measures out okay. So I think, honestly, that these are still fine. And this potentiometer, I guess that will then be the speed control for the motor. Okay, so I got a test tape in there right now. It has a tone of 3150 Hertz, and I have the oscilloscope hooked up to one of the channels. Let me pull you a bit closer to the screen of the oscilloscope. So what I'm going to do is play that tape, and then I'm going to adjust here this potentiometer and see if that if we can change the speed. Okay, let's see. So if I press play, we should see the signal on here, and we should have a frequency on there. Okay, that's 2.88 kilohertz. That's way too slow. It should be 3.15. Let me turn down the volume here a bit because this is a rather annoying sound. Let's see if we adjust this pot meter if we can change something. Oh, it's slowing down in that direction. Oh, it's maxed out. Yeah, we have an issue. What could be the cause of this? Maybe some of these transistors is bad. Let me see what I can find. Well, I just spent more than 2 hours chasing a problem that didn't exist. Yeah, indeed. So after replacing all the transistors here on this board, because I thought that, well, the cassette deck is running slow. Well, it was running slow, but I thought that that was the reason. That didn't help, like I already explained. Then I figured, well, then the power supply should be low. And indeed it was slightly low. It was like 1.5 volt lower than what is written on the schematic. And I started chasing down that rabbit hole, and that was really not necessary. So, but what did I do? So let me show you here. So this is the voltage regulator, and that generates here on the schematic 9.7 volts. Mine was a bit lower, and that's the voltage that goes to both motors. So I replaced the voltage regulator. Didn't have any effect. I replaced the Zener. Well, in fact, I blew the Zener when I was measuring across it, and then I had to replace it. It's a 9.1 volt Zener. I had a 9 volt Zener, so I put that in place. Didn't change a thing. I changed both rectifier diodes. No impact at all. I measured resistors and everything. Not a sausage. Then I went here to the board with the motor control for the pickup, so for the turntable. There you have a germanium transistor, so I suspected, well, maybe it's the germanium. So I took that one out of circuit. No difference whatsoever. And yeah, all those shenanigans cost me about 2 hours or so, a bit more than 2 hours even. And then I noticed that the potentiometer here that is used to adjust the speed was not at the end of its travel. It simply stopped because there was a bit of wax or paint that they put on there to fix the potentiometer. There was a bit of that in place and blocking it from going further. So then I just simply adjusted the speed until it was correct with this potentiometer. Oh my god. Really? See, so now if I press play, it's much better. And I hooked up my wow and flutter meter to the output of one of the speaker terminals. And let me show you here. I'm just doing this handheld. So this is the wow and flutter meter. Let me press play. So here on the left, that's the speed. So that should center on 0 if the speed is exactly 3.15 kilohertz. And that's the flutter. So this is currently at a 3% scale unweighted. So if I press play, then see, so this one I adjusted, and that is not too bad, I think. Okay, we do have a bit of wow, see, it's moving, but it's not dramatic at all. Yeah, sorry for the tone. I can try to put it a bit lower, but then my meter will not pick it up. So, and here the flutter, we are at around 1% of flutter. See, there is a 1%. If I go into if I disable unweighted mode, then it's lower. See, in unweighted mode, if you want to know the difference between weighted and unweighted mode, I explain it in detail in the video I made about this wow and flutter meter. So in unweighted mode, it's 0.5% of flutter. In weighted mode is 0.5% of flutter. In unweighted mode is about 1%. And you can hear the flutter a bit. As soon as you go like above 0.25%, so this is now a 1% scale. If you go higher than 0.25%, you will notice it. And you can also hear it right now. Wait, I will shut up for a sec. I think you can clearly hear it. Let me turn down the volume here a bit, because this beep is really annoying. I don't know if I will be able to reduce this even further. Maybe the spindles need a bit of lubrication. Maybe it's just the motor which is aging. I don't know. But hey, it's already much better than what it was. So this is a small victory, even though there wasn't an issue. It was just the potentiometer who was a bit stuck. Yeah, well, it's working quite well. Well, very well, actually. I should have done this earlier, namely loosen the entire cassette deck and just flip it over. It was really easy to do. It's just 3 screws, 2 here on the bottom and 1 on the top, and you can just disconnect it and flip it over. And obviously I put a piece of cardboard in between just to not generate any shorts with the rest of the circuitry. But then you can just operate it like this, and it's working pretty well now. Now I should have really done this earlier because I had great access to clean everything here. And then I also did the head alignment, well, or adjustment, because the head was completely out of whack. Remember that I said that the right channel was much more silent than the left channel? Well, I found that the height and as well the azimuth were both quite off, so I had to adjust that. Now, I'm not an expert on working on cassette decks. It's one of the first I'm doing, so I'm not gonna go through the procedure because I don't want to explain something which is not correct. I do have a set of adjustment tapes that I used. I used the adjustment tapes for the head height, for the azimuth, for the level of both channels, these kind of things. And it requires quite a bit of going back and forth because this head mechanism here, I mean, you can only adjust it with these 2 screws here on the side of the head. They are on springs. So that means that you can adjust the azimuth, but you need to adjust the azimuth, but also the height with these same screws. As far as I can tell, I cannot see any other way to adjust this head. So that means that they both influence each other. So if you have, if you adjust the height, then you will probably also adjust or influence the azimuth and the other way around. So it's quite fiddly. You need to go back and forth. So if you know how a cassette tape works, so you have 4 tracks on a tape, right? So you have two times two channels, two times left and right, one for side A, one for side B. And they are not interleaved like on a reel-to-reel machine, they are just in pairs, so you have a left and a right channel over here and a left and right channel over there. If I remember correctly, yeah, the right channels are in the middle and the outer ones are the left channels, I think. Now, if your head is not positioned correctly, which is what I was having, it was positioned too high, then you lose a bit of one of the two channels and you hear crossover from the other side. So that I heard that in the pauses between the songs, I could hear the other side of the tape playing backwards or bleeding through. So that means that your head is positioned a bit too high. So I adjusted that, I adjusted the azimuth. That was obviously then also completely out of whack because I had adjusted the height. And now it seems to work pretty well. There is still the wow and flutter. I think it's related to the pinch roller here, which probably needs to be renewed. I don't have those in stock, so I cannot do that at the moment. But it plays quite well. I have similar levels on both channels now. And yeah, it's sounding quite okay. After I did this, I also still had to tweak again the speed a bit because in a one way or another this influenced the speed. It was running slightly too fast, so I had to tune it down a bit. But now it seems to work. Obviously, I cannot really play anything that is going to flag me for copyright, but it is working quite well. If I turn up the volume, obviously. See, so yeah, I cannot play this because copyright reasons. I should have this cassette here somewhere again with the child songs. Let's see if I can... But that one, it's not the highest fidelity. Understatement. Yeah. Yeah, see, let's fast forward. Working perfectly fine. Wow. Now it sounds great, actually. It doesn't sound like a scene from a horror movie, so... Left channel. Right channel. Yeah, so... It's working quite well. Now, to be fair, I don't think this cassette has been used a lot. Because even for me, when I was a kid, I think this cassette is from my childhood, but even from me, when I was a kid, this was a bit too corny or too boring to listen to. You can hear the flutter or the wow a bit, but I think that's the pinch roller. But it's definitely listenable. Well, not the music itself, but the sound of the cassette deck. And no bleed through of other channels anymore or other sides. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this. I am going to put it back into the case now, I guess, and put everything back together. So this PCB, that's the main PCB of the cassette deck, so it contains the preamplifier for the cassette deck, is completely riddled with components. It's absolutely packed and stuffed to the brim with components and a lot of capacitors. And the reason why it's so small is because this entire tape mechanism comes out of a portable tape recorder. So in theory they had a lot more place here, but yeah, this just comes out of another machine. There are a lot of capacitors in there, and it's super hard to reach because it doesn't fold over easily. And I'm afraid to make things worse than they already are. So at the moment, I'm gonna leave this as it is. Also because the cassette deck is working quite well. if I find in the future a solution for this on-off switch that we talked about in the beginning of the video, then I will make an update video with a new switch, and then I might also come back to this PCB. There is another issue with it, and that there's a lot of capacitors in there that are 1.5 microfarad, and I don't have any replacement for those at the moment. So, well, I won't be able to service it fully anyway at the moment, so it doesn't make sense to start working on it right now. All right, what you're listening to now is a recording that I made. So I transferred the record to the cassette, and it's working fine. Well, you can very clearly hear the wow and flutter in certain areas of the music. Let me just, I hope that this won't get a copyright strike. I tried to find an obscure record that would, well, hopefully not give me a copyright strike. So if you are listening to this, or if you're watching this video and there are certain sections of the video muted, then you know it's because of the copyright. See, here you can clearly hear the... Yeah, it's not supposed to sound like that. You clearly hear the wow and flutter. I think we need a new pinch roller. Now, how this recording works is actually quite fun. These bulbs here, that's the level indicator. So normally you would have a VU meter to have an idea of the recording level. So what you do here simply is, right, let me just stop this and let me start the record. Put it in somewhere here on the record. Let me just do that. See, that's how it's supposed to sound. But... right, so if I push record here, that's not gonna start recording. I'm just putting it in record mode. See, then here this starts flashing, like you're in a theme park. And that's the VU meter basically. So see, if I decrease the recording level, then it goes down. If I increase it all the way up, it goes all the way up here as well. For the previous recording, I thought something like this would be nice. So it's about 7, but that was a bit too hot. A bit too loud on the recording when I played it back. So I think something like this maybe is better. I wonder why they used like red on the left and green on the right, because, well, I imagine with a VU meter, the red you go into the red zone if it's too loud, I guess. So it's a bit weird, or maybe my glasses here are mixed up. No idea. Yeah, see, so now if you want to record, you just press start while holding down the record button, and the recording works perfectly fine, actually. Let's go back to the tape. See, it's way louder than the sound coming from the vinyl. Okay, I think we are done with this thing for now. I kind of like it. A couple of to-dos still, and if I manage to get around these, I will surely post an update. The on-off switch, the pinch roller probably, and then maybe the PCB on the cassette deck with all the capacitors that still need to be replaced. And that's it. So I quite like this thing. I'd like to thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. Take care. Bye-bye.